You implored it. Right?
I don't know if that's used correctly.
I don't know what the word implored means.
It doesn't matter. We have to do this shit before Vince has to leave. Welcome to the Fantasy Beer League, where you get half-decent advice from half-decent guys. I'm your host, Sean Joyce. With me, as always, is lactate pill enthusiast Justin Giel and our resident fantasy football expert / big loser, Matt Senni. So, Senni, why are you in this position today?
Because it's not possible for the Steelers and me to win in the same week.
Fair enough.
I chose for the Steelers to lose for probably the first time, and I confidently thought I was going to win this week in fantasy. So, obviously, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
All right, well, we'll see what happens with this punishment.
Well, Andy's 7-5 team had a fluke week of winning.
Yeah, he was not projected high either.
No.
His team's banged up.
Do a wax strip across my chest, which is literally, I have
all
a strip of hair on my chest.
Yeah, so you'll be completely clean.
All right, sounds good to me.
Okay, I hope it still hurts a little bit, so it's worth it. If it were Justin or I, it would be,
it'd be
very
bad.
hairy.
You get noise complaints from your neighbors.
Yeah. Okay, well, now that that's taken care of, can you read the fine money owed from last week's episode, Justin?
Sure. So a lot of fines last week. Sean, you owed $2. You called Justin Fields Justin Hurts. I think Vince and I actually looked at each other when you said that.
I think it's a fair mistake.
It is, yeah. They play pretty comparably.
Yeah.
I owe $2 because first time this year I cleared my throat during Thirsty Thursday.
First time. That never happens.
And that's it.
That's all we got. Okay, so a nice $4 going back to the pot for the end of the season winner. Senni, can you read the poll results from last week?
Is it acceptable to listen to Christmas music before Black Friday? Just over 50% say no.
So you lost, but not by much.
Mm-hmm.
Is Cordarrelle Patterson a set and forget RB1? 2 out of 3 people say yes.
At this point, probably, especially with all the injuries at the position.
Do the Lions have to win eventually?
They did.
They did. Go Lions.
2 out of 3 said no.
Incredible.
Hey, well, you won the poll, but they won on Sunday.
I think this was the most voted. Is Boston Scott a cool name? Just under 3 and 4 say yes. So 72% said yes.
Okay.
So it is a cool name.
Yeah, that's what they say.
That's what people think. Is OBJ a startable wide receiver again? About 64% say no to 36 who say yes.
He wasn't great, but he scored.
Yep.
Is Carson Wentz made of Lincoln Logs?
This is a big one.
2 in 3 say yes.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
That 1/3 doesn't know what
it's
Lincoln
Matt
Logs
Lamar.
are.
Matt Lamar voted no.
Do you still have to throw DK Metcalf's fat cock out there? 58% said yes.
A lot lower than I thought.
I don't know. I mean, he hasn't been great.
Yeah, he hasn't. Is it embarrassing to be in your late 20s and still live at home? 42% said yes, 58% live at home. Are you still starting Cortland Sutton? 3 in 4 say no.
Okay, 3 and 4 are correct.
Yes. That's it.
All we got. Okie dokie. Let's start out with 2 of your favorite teams, the Ravens and the Browns.
Browns playing them in back-to-back games.
Yep, they are. I talked about that last week.
Yep.
Copycat. Despite his struggles, Lamar Jackson is still a must-start each week due to his rushing floor and elite upside. Mark Andrews is also in the must-start category. But in an up-and-down year, does Devontae Freeman warrant a start as well, Justin?
I think so. I mean, they really have no one else at that running back position on their team. And he was getting the looks this past week. He had a pretty solid game. So I like him moving forward.
He has at least 10 carries in each week since their bye. He had 8 targets last week, and it's a run-heavy offense. Lamar has been checking down a lot to him. So I agree. I like him as a running back 2, low-end, high-end flex play. Both Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt were held under 6 fantasy points the last time we saw them play. What do you expect this time around?
I feel like they have to bounce back. I mean, they had a whole week to prepare. I mean, Ravens are coming off a loss. I don't know how much that's going to impact them, but I think a slight improvement, but the Ravens still have a decent running defense.
They do, and there's no threat in the passing game.
Yeah.
So teams, I think, are going to start selling out against the run. The Browns have an excellent running team. I'm not sure the status of their offensive linemen are right now. I know that they, I believe, had 2 tackles out the last time they played, which obviously played a big factor in their inability to run the ball. But I'm a little bit concerned about Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, especially Nick Chubb because he's not much of a pass catcher.
Yeah.
I have my concerns about those two. I can't imagine benching either of them either way. I think the Ravens win 20-16.
I think the Ravens win too. I think they get a bounce back win.
Yeah, me too.
Next, we have the Jags and the Titans. Tighten up. James Robinson had a terrible fantasy performance on Sunday, in large part due to a fumble that got him benched for most of the game. How high is your level of concern for this, Justin?
I mean, pretty decent, but I think they're going to give him the ball early in this game just to help him bounce back.
I hope.
I mean, I hope so too.
Urban Meyer's a fucking douchebag.
He is, yeah, he's an idiot.
He's got a chubby for Carlos Hyde.
Yeah.
Who also fumbled in this game.
Yeah, they just couldn't hold on to the ball.
No, well, they suck.
Yeah, they do.
But, I mean, James Robinson is clearly the best player on the team.
Yeah, he's the guy that I want from that team.
Yeah,
There's
obviously,
really no one else.
but Urban Meyer may not feel the same way. So I am concerned about James Robinson because Urban Meyer is so stubborn.
Yeah.
And because he went away from his star the second that he made a mistake. I don't like that. I don't like that man at all. Mm-hmm. Senni, can you name an active offensive non-quarterback player on the Titans?
I know a ton, and I can't think of a single one. Because I know that obviously the receivers are not their strong suit, so they're obviously not the big names. Mm-hmm. And I know Derrick Henry is out, right?
He's out, yep.
No, I can't.
Yeah. A.J. Brown and Julio Jones are both also out.
Yeah. I couldn't have told you either of those guys.
Okay. Well, I think those are the only other two that you would know.
Yeah.
And it's hard to ask this question about an 8-win team, but is there anyone on this team you can start with any confidence?
Maybe Tannehill.
No.
But that's it.
Not Tannehill.
Strong
disagree.
I think for a streaming, I mean, the Jags are not good.
The Jags are bad. You make a good point there. But Ryan Tannehill has no one.
He's got no one, yeah.
Can you name a player that's active on the Titans?
Is McNichols hurt?
He was last time they played.
That up?
Jeremy McNichols.
I've never heard that.
The only way that I really like him is if they get into the red zone and he rushes it in.
He's not their rushing or goal line rusher though.
But he does rush a good amount.
No, my friend.
Yeah, I like him.
Devontae Freeman is the only one I like, and that's a name that exactly.
Who?
That's my point.
Yeah,
you have to be very desperate to be starting anybody on the Titans. However, tighten up because the Jags do suck. 24-10.
I'm gonna go Jags.
Jag down, right? That's what you say.
That's what I say. Yeah, you can say it. It's fine. They're not gonna win. Raiders play the Chiefs. Hunter Renfrow is the obvious start, as is Darren Waller if he's healthy.
Should have played him.
But what is the ceiling for Josh Jacobs after his 24-point performance on Sunday?
I think we've been saying this all year. He needs a touchdown to be start worthy, but I think if he's getting more involved in the passing game, start him. I mean, he's getting the looks. He had a great game this past week. But, I mean, if he can keep that up, I like him.
He had 9 catches, which is uncharacteristic of him. I'm wondering if that has something to do with Darren Waller not being on the field. Mm-hmm. So if he returns, I don't know that passing volume is sustainable.
Sure.
But he appears to get a 1-yard touchdown run every week because the Raiders get bailed out by some bullshit pass interference every week or some dumb shit happens. Mm-hmm. And then Josh Jacobs just plunges his goofy ass into the end zone. I hate that motherfucker. It's going to regress eventually, but it doesn't appear to be happening this season. I still think he's a running back too. Mm-hmm. And until he proves otherwise that he should be on a bench. The Chiefs aren't what we thought they would be. But can you realistically be benching any of their stars?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Especially coming into this week, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sucks because you probably invested a lot in them.
Yeah.
Kelsey's the only one that's returned dividends, and he had a bad week this past week, so he's not even foolproof. Tyreek Hill had another down week. Mm-hmm. And then the running backs, I mean, Edwards-Helaire and Darrell Williams, their ceiling is probably 10 to 15 points.
Yeah.
While both are active, so it's tough, but I can't imagine benching my Chiefs. I think they win this game 27-19.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to win.
Yep, I agree.
Next, we have the Saints.
And the Jets.
Assuming he's able to play through a finger injury, what is your fantasy expectation from Taysom Hill this week?
I mean, I think he's the best, apart from Alvin Kamara, I think he's the best fantasy option on the team. Not to say that he's not going to turn the ball over, because he did that quite a fucking...
That's so sad.
Yeah.
That's so sad to say he's the second best option.
Yeah, because he's a running back. He's a running back that plays quarterback.
Exactly. He had, even with 4 interceptions on Thursday and throwing the ball and looking terrible, he had 20 fantasy points. That's a good fantasy day. That's most fantasy quarterbacks. He had over 100 rushing yards, and that's really all you need from a player. That's 10 points right there. So if he has 100 rushing yards and a couple touchdowns every week, he is an elite fantasy option. I have him as a top 10 quarterback as long as he remains the starter, especially this week against the Jets. Are you starting anyone other than Elijah Moore for the Jets?
No, not with any confidence.
I think the Jets still win 69-0. Fuck the Saints.
Yeah, I'm going Jets.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, fuck the Saints.
Saints are going to lose out.
I hope so. That'd be nice. The Cowboys play the Washington.
The Washington.
CeeDee Lamb was excellent and has returned to action, while Amari Cooper had a quiet first game back with only 2 receptions on the night. How concerned are you about this, Justin?
I'm not super concerned. I mean, it could have been a conditioning thing. They were just trying to wean him back into the offense. But with that team that they have, you're going to have some of those games. It could be CeeDee Lamb's getting the hot hand one week, Cooper one week, Gallup now that he's healthy the next. So it's I don't think you're benching him, but don't be surprised if he's not the one getting the looks in any given week.
Generally, I think that's true. Last week, he was definitely on a pitch count.
Yeah.
He wasn't playing as many snaps as he normally does, running as many routes as he normally does. So it definitely was a conditioning-based thing after 2 weeks on the COVID list. I'm not concerned about him at all.
Yeah.
I'm still firing up this week. For Washington, after spending much of the season talking shit about him, Antonio Gibson has now ripped off 3 games with over 20 fantasy points over his past 4.
Incredible.
How do you view his value this week?
I like him this week. I think it's going to be... I think the game's got to... It'll be a good game. I don't know that it'll be high scoring, maybe 45 points between the two teams, but I think he's going to get some volume.
Yeah, the volume has been ridiculous. He has 109 touches over those past 4 games. Only 1 game with over 100 yards rushing, so the efficiency hasn't been great, but volume is king in fantasy football. I mean, he can get you to a 20-point day, 3 yards per carry, and a cloud of dust at a time. I think the Cowboys win this one 30-20.
Yeah, I'm going Cowboys.
Absolutely.
Next, the Falcons play the Panthers.
Jesus Christ, this game's going to suck.
Wow, I could not care less.
Senni, can you name an active Falcons wide receiver?
No. And you've asked me this question before.
Yeah. I knew that you wouldn't be able to.
Wait.
Oh, you got one?
No.
After securing 11 receptions for 130 yards on Sunday, is Russell Gage on your flex radar, Justin?
Somehow, some way, yes, he is.
Yeah, he's got 27 targets over the past 3 games, which is nice. Calvin Ridley is still not playing. Who knows when or if he'll return at all this season. And then the other guy just has a fun name to say. I believe it's pronounced Olamide. Alameda? I think it's Alameda. Alameda Zacchaeus.
Oh, I've been saying it wrong. I
thought
thought it was
Olamide. Yeah.
I thought it was Olamide.
We were white guying it. I'm pretty sure it's Alameda. But yeah, Russell Gage, flex radar, wide receiver 3, maybe on a good matchup. This is not one. The Panthers secondary is pretty solid.
Yeah.
But I definitely think he's worth a pickup and worth monitoring going into the fantasy playoffs. He could be a guy who wins you a chip. With the news of Christian McCaffrey being shut down for the season, what are your expectations for the Chuba Hubbard?
The Tubes. I like him. I think he's, if you didn't already handcuff McCaffrey,
you should have.
Yeah, you should have. I don't see Hubbard being available in many leagues. If he is, pick him up. I think he's served well enough as a fill-in when McCaffrey's been out.
He's been okay.
Yeah.
He's not been anything special, but he hasn't been anything terrible. I want to pull up their schedule because I was looking at it. This is not something that I would want going into the fantasy playoffs. Their schedule is pretty brutal after this week. So let me do some personal looking up and wasting time and trying to filibuster.
And I think the Panthers' offense in general hasn't been anything spectacular.
Yeah.
DJ Moore's had his bright spots. Robbie Anderson has had a good game.
Right.
That's really it.
So they get the Falcons this week.
Yeah.
Good matchup. Then the next 3 games, the fantasy playoffs in most standard leagues, they play the Bills, the Buccaneers, and the Panthers again. So the Bills and the Bucks have two of the best run defenses in the league. I would be concerned about starting Chuba Hubbard those weeks. Oh, wait. I said they would play Carolina. They are Carolina.
Yeah, that's what I was
They
thinking.
play the Saints.
Oh, the Saints. Okay.
3 good run defenses in a row. So it's hard to put any confidence in a guy who hasn't been that efficient, hasn't been Mike Davis 2.0 this season. I have concerns about Chuba Hubbard. He'll still fit into the running back 2 conversation, flex conversation every week just due to the lack of depth at the position. But I wouldn't feel confident that he's going to get me the boom types of weeks that you need to win in the playoffs. This game is going to suck ass. I think the Panthers win 17-14.
I'm going Panthers
Yeah,
too.
me too.
Our last game before Thirsty Thursday is the Seahawks and the Texans. Another great game.
Jesus Christ, they're loading up this slate.
They really are. What are your expectations for the struggling Seahawks this week?
I think they get a bounce back week. Texans are
Fucking
ass.
hope so, man.
Yeah, they
Jesus.
should. I mean, if they can't get it right this week, it's never going to happen. The Texans aren't great at anything.
No.
The Seahawks haven't been good at running the ball, so I expect them to pass. Most teams can just run the ball down Houston's throat. The Seahawks don't have that kind of team. Rashad Penny isn't going to light it up on Sunday.
No.
Alex Collins is not going to light it up on Sunday. So DK Metcalf better shove it in on Sunday, or I'm going to be really annoyed with him. And Tyler Lockett, I mean, boom bust still.
Already annoyed with him.
Yeah, no, I don't like him.
His
but-
existence is annoying.
Yeah, but he's boom bust. I mean, the analysis on him hasn't changed. He had
Yeah.
a boom week last week, so he might suck this week. Should set up nicely for DK Fat Cock Metcalf.
Yep.
Brandon Cooks is the only Texan we'd be starting. What do you expect to see from him on Sunday?
I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, he has been a tough book to read
Yeah,
all
he
year.
has.
The date or the weeks that you think he's gonna go off, 9 points.
Yeah. I mean, this is allegedly a good matchup.
Yep.
I guess it depends who the quarterback is. Surprisingly, he did not have a catch while Tyrod Taylor was in the game on Sunday. And then when Davis Mills came in, that's when he finally produced something.
Yep.
I feel like if you have him, if you're tied to him, you probably don't have a better option. But it's hard to feel great about him when he's just been so inconsistent.
I
this
don't
year.
feel great about him.
No, and it's not his. It's not even his fault because
No.
the talent is there. He's just surrounded by diarrhea.
By ass, yeah.
I think Seattle wins this game 23-13.
Yeah, I can't pick the Texans.
Yes, yeah.
Let's drink about the Texans.
Yeah, yeah.
This Thursday night, the Steelers are playing the Vikings. The fuck did I put my can? Oh, I found it. I got it. Producing podcasts. I'm drinking OV, which is the session stout from Tired Hands. This beer is not good. It is overly roasty. It tastes like I'm drinking liquid smoke, which I
Yeah.
don't want in a beer. I've had other variants of this beer, the regular Only Void series, and
Yeah.
the different variants. I liked some of them. I wasn't blown away by really any of them, which was disappointing. But this is the worst one of all of them.
Yeah, their only void line this year was very underwhelming.
There was one that I really did like, the green one.
Single origin.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah,
really
that
good.
was- that was the-
It's always their
yeah.
best out of their
Yeah,
series.
so sorry to disappoint with my review, but I gotta tell it how it is sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Now on to some Steelers talk. Deontay Johnson and Najee Harris are the only must-start options on this team, and the Vikings defense is terrible.
Yeah, really bad.
Both players are top 5 options for me this week. Chase Claypool is recognized as a boom-bust option, but with only 1 touchdown on the season, I view him as merely a bust. Same game that he had a touchdown was his only time this season going over 100 yards. He has less than 15 points in all but 2 games. I am outside of my top 30 this week. He is a risky flex play at best. In most leagues, this is the last week to make the playoffs, so you might need a boom-bust type player. I don't view Claypool as that, but I understand that the matchup is enticing, and I wouldn't look at you sideways if you were chasing what you wanted him to be when you first drafted him. I'll take the Vikings to win this game 27-20. Justin, tell me what you're drinking, tell me about the Vikings, and tell me who you think wins the game.
Sure. I am drinking Mapping the Multiverse. It's a hazy IPA from Surly Brewing out of, it says Minneapolis and Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. Didn't know that was a place.
Another Brooklyn Center.
Yeah. I said before we started recording that I read the date wrong on this can. I thought it was October 2nd that it was canned. It was February 10th. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
For a 10-month-old beer,
Yeah. I mean, a lot of like the hop flavor is gone, but it doesn't taste like wet cardboard or anything. Minnesota, I think they got a lot of options on.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's okay. I like Kirk Cousins. There's still some. If you use him as a streaming option, temper expectations because the Steelers do have a good defense. They got to Lamar Jackson a lot this past week. But Justin Jefferson is a stud. He put up, or he had a great, I don't know how many points, but he had a great game this past week. Good. And then whichever running back is getting the start, if Dalvin Cook comes back, obviously you're starting him. Yeah. I like Alexander Mattison if Cook's unable to go. I think Adam Thielen got hurt, so if he's able to go, maybe throw him in as well. But I'm going to go with the Steelers. Okay. They play well in December. I think they're going to pull it off.
Okay. Time will tell. Senni, tell us what you're drinking and tell us who you think wins the game.
I am drinking Sean's Saturday Outfit from New Trail Brewing. It's a hazy double IPA. I think it's pretty good. I like it. I am actually going to start Claypool because I'm a fucking idiot. And I think that this is a game that the Steelers have to win.
Yeah, so. I think the rest of the year is must win for them.
For those listening and not watching, the name of the beer is Flannel Weather. And I do wear flannels every Saturday, September through March or April.
Is that a fact? Like, is that an actual thing?
I mean, every time I go out, I think I wear a flannel. It's not intentional. It just kind of happens. Sometimes I wear a hoodie. Yeah, sometimes I wear a hoodie. But I mean, I'm the only one of our friends who does that. So, no. No, he doesn't. I don't know who you're talking about.
The man upstairs.
Oh, I thought you were talking about yourself.
No.
No.
God wears a flannel.
Yeah, God. Praise Jeebus.
He was a lumberjack.
Let's talk about the 4 o'clock games. The Giants play the Chargers. I'm not happy about that.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones missed last week's game with a neck injury. And next man up, Mike Glennon, suffered a concussion in the loss. Not a good time for a joke. I should have thought about it more. It's a joke because he has a really long neck.
Yeah.
Like a giraffe. He's concussed. Heal up, Mike Glennon. Are there any Giants you can confidently start this week?
Not particularly. Maybe Saquon because the Chargers do not have a good running defense.
Yep.
But that's about it.
Yeah, you have to start him.
Yeah.
But he hasn't had over 60 rushing yards in a game. You want to guess when the last time was?
When he got hurt last year?
Week 16, 2019.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. 2 years ago, almost.
2 years. So, not good.
No.
Will not be a first-round pick for me next year. I didn't take him anywhere this year. I have very big concerns about him. Yeah, he's the only one that I would consider starting. And even if I did start him, I wouldn't feel super optimistic. I do think that they'll check down to him, and he'll probably have like 6 catches for 20 yards because the Giants' offense is so constipated and terrible. But he's not got the big play upside that you drafted him for. Is this another Mike Williams week or no?
I'm hoping for it. I think it can be. I think Keenan Allen was added to the COVID list.
Yes, he was.
So
if he's out, I don't know his vaccination status.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if he's out, or if he's just out temporarily. But if he's out, yeah, Mike Williams definitely gets a big boost. Justin Herbert has over 300 yards in 4 of his last 5 games, and I expect him to do it again against the Giants. So Mike Williams seems like he should eat off of that assumption alone. Somebody's got to catch the targets.
One would hope. I hope it's not fucking Jared Cook.
Or who's the guy that scored?
Guyton.
Jalen Guyton, yeah. But yeah, I think Mike Williams is a little bit of a risky play, but still a wide receiver 3 for me this week. Chargers win easily, 27-13.
Yeah, I'm going Chargers.
Yep.
Next, the Lions play the Broncos. The Lions won a game. Senni, can you name a Lions wide receiver?
No.
Yeah, I really didn't think so. Do you know one, Justin? Without looking at the notes.
The guy that it was St. Brown. I don't know how to pronounce his first name.
That's okay. I should have asked Vince. Vince, would you have known one if I asked? No. Yeah, I didn't think so.
Is he related to the St. Brown that was
Equanimous? Yeah, he is. But yeah, after securing 10 receptions, including the game-winning touchdown, does Amon-Ra St. Brown deserve consideration this week, Justin?
How did they get their names? But I think so.
I'm sure he's Egyptian.
I hope he has a brother named George.
George or Greg.
Greg St. Brown, Equanimous St. Brown, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I think consideration into picking up. The Broncos have a good defense though. Mm-hmm. So, and the Lions, we have been saying this all year, not great.
Yeah.
So I would pick them up and roster them. Maybe if it's a week where you're trying to get into the playoffs or you're trying to pray for a playoff win and you need someone that's because you have someone on a bye.
Yeah.
Throw them in. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, I would agree with everything that you said. Really, a quick aside here, since we were talking about funny names, I wanted to mention O.J. Mayo on the in the NBA. His name is Ovinton J. Anthony, and his brother's name is Todd.
Todd Mayo.
Devontae Williams finally had the backfield all to himself on Sunday night against the Chiefs, and he totaled nearly 30 fantasy points.
Oh, yeah.
Has he finally won this job?
I think he has to at this point.
You would hope.
Yeah. I mean, Melvin Gordon 3 was out, so that was obviously helpful, but he's done enough to prove that he's the guy.
You would think so. He looks better. He is better.
Yeah.
He's younger, healthier, faster. I understand the need to keep Melvin Gordon involved in the game script, but it should be more like a 65-35 split than a 50-50 split. I really hope Javonte Williams has proved himself well enough to get enough touches through the end of the season. God, Vic Fangio, can you stop being a goddamn dinosaur and just let the man play? Broncos win 20-15.
I'm going Lions. I think they get 2 in a row
Two
and
in
they
a
fuck
row.
up their draft picks.
Broncos aren't good. It could happen. That would be so.
That would be awesome.
Well, could they really? I think they would still be the worst team in the league, right? Because they have.
They would
tie.
still.
Or were they? How many wins do the Texans have? Texans might be worse still. They might only have 2 wins.
The Texans and the Jags, I think, each have 2 wins.
Well, you never know. I guess they could fuck it up.
Pull of Jets.
Who you got, Senni?
Broncos.
Okay.
It's probably the smarter pick. That is the smarter pick.
49ers play the Bengals this week. George Kittle erupted on Sunday with 9 catches for 181 yards and 2 tutties. Jeez. Is this more or less what we should expect in the event that Deebo Samuel misses another week?
I think so. I think him and Deebo are 1A, 1B as to what this offense goes through. Because you never know who the running... I mean, Elijah Mitchell seems to be the guy now.
He's the guy. He's been the guy all season.
So that's great to see, finally. But I still don't think the offense goes through him.
I mean, it kind of does, it kind of doesn't. The passing offense doesn't go through him as much. He's definitely more valuable in non-PPR. They run the ball a shitload, but he's not going to see an increase in volume with Deebo Samuel out. He's still getting 20-plus touches every week.
Yeah.
There wasn't an increase in targets for Ayuk, so that was a little surprising to me. I thought that he would take up some of that in Deebo's absence. Jimmy G loves George Kittle. I understand why. He's a great player.
Yep.
I don't think that it's... I don't know what word I'm trying to say here. I don't think it's realistic for Kittle to repeat that type of performance.
Yeah.
But I do think he'll dominate target share while Deebo is out. With back-to-back 100-yard games, how high are you on T. Higgins this week?
I like T. Higgins.
Yeah.
Not just because I have him, but... Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, I've come around on him this year. I think it was last week or the week prior. I was mentioning that Jamar Chase, I think, is the number 1 guy. Very clearly not the case.
Yeah. I was right. Another win for me. Jamar Chase is a boom bust guy.
Yeah.
He has the ability to boom every week. He did drop a ball that would probably be like a 70-yard touchdown on Sunday that ended up getting picked. But if you look at the ESPN, which we're not affiliated with in any way, it's just the app that we use for fantasy purposes only. It has the boom bust ticker at the bottom. He has 7 busts and 4 booms this year. 52 yards, which is what he had this past week, was his highest yardage total since week 7. So I think defenses have figured him out a bit. T. Higgins is my preferred option. Tyler Boyd has even picked up a little bit the past few weeks if you want to think about him as a flex play. I'm in on T. Higgins to have another strong game, and I think the Bengals win a good game, 29-27.
I'm going to go Niners.
I'm going Bengals.
I think it could go either way.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the closest game of the week.
I think so.
Sunday Night Football.
We've been waiting all day for Sunday night.
Senni, what have you been waiting all day to talk about?
I've been waiting all day to talk about electric cars. So before I start, let me be clear that not only am I not sponsored by Tesla, I do not know jack shit about electric cars. I just want to talk about this. So we all know that like gas prices have been going up recently, and like
Thanks, Joe Biden.
I wasn't really thinking about it. I just like was kind of fucking dealing with it, and then my students started talking to me about gas prices recently and how much they pay. And they were telling me like these numbers in like the 40s and 50s. Like they were paying like $50 to fill up their tank.
That's how much it costs to fill my car.
Yeah.
And I was like surprised because I was like, what do these kids just have like nice cars? Their parents bought them nice cars for their 17th birthday. I don't know. I mean, they do, but like I drive a Honda. I drive a Civic. So I'm thinking, all right, well, I obviously get better mileage. I pay a little less. And then my wife, who drives an HRV, also said she pays like $40, $50. So maybe I just don't look when I pay because I normally don't ask for a receipt. But I was just thinking about how insane it is that prices are that high. Now, obviously, a lot of people work from home. I obviously don't. So I drive a lot. And a lot of people were like telling me, like, oh, well, I only fill up my tank once a week. I fill up my tank at least twice a week. And I just didn't really think about how much I'm paying. So I was thinking, like, if your average person is really paying like $50 to fill up their tank, maybe gas is just not the move anymore. Maybe that's like, so obviously we know electric cars are like, have been a thing up and coming for a while. And even before gas prices went up, I was like, I had a conversation with my wife. I'm like, oh, I see Teslas everywhere now. Like, I feel like every day I see a Tesla. And I said, I think that the statistics of people who own a Tesla, and then I was like going through all these options. So first I was thinking it could even be like 15%, and I said, all right, maybe that's a little high. So then I went and said, all right, I'm just going to like give myself a big range and say 5 to 20% of people own an electric car. You want to take guesses on what it is?
In the world or the United States?
I just looked up like what percent of people own an electric car.
12.
7.
8.
3.
3? Wow.
And I'm telling you, I thought that was way too low because I feel like I see it all the time too. So I just thought like, oh,
maybe they just stand out because like they're so uncommon. Like you notice them, but you don't notice like a gas car.
I feel like every day I'm behind a Tesla at some point.
Yeah.
And I don't know, my neighbors across the street in the little tiny house, what I'm talking about? They have a Tesla, so I was like, oh, everybody's got a fucking Tesla now. But I was shocked 3%.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's my opinion. I don't know if you guys think that we're moving towards electric or if we're just gonna deal with the gas prices for however long.
Well, the world's going to end in like 7 years, so it won't matter.
He's right.
Yeah, so whatever. Who gives a fuck? I mean, I guess. I don't know. I don't think there's enough electric cars, obviously, if there's only 3% of people have them. So it's not really changing enough that would make any climate difference or difference in gas price. I don't really have anything to add, but Justin, I know you were excited, and Vince, you know shit about cars. I don't know dick about cars, so I couldn't tell you anything.
I mean, I feel like the electric cars, if you have like the space and the capabilities to have one, I think it's a good move, but like you have to have somebody come in and install like the charging station at your house, or like if you live in an apartment, I feel like that's going to be tough because you're not running an extension cord to charge your Tesla.
I mean, if you live in an apartment, you probably shouldn't have a Tesla anyway.
Yeah, good point. Priorities.
But like I feel like it's harder. There's positives and negatives to it because if you're on a road trip, it's going to be harder to say, oh, I got to stop and charge my Tesla for 2.5 hours as opposed to let me stop at Wawa and fill up the tank and then we can get on our way.
Teslas actually don't take that long. Teslas only take like a half an hour to full charge. From
That's what like the supercharge is for, right? Like they're supposed to be nice.
The biggest problem with electric cars is like you might be paying less nothing in gas, but for a good electric car, it's not affordable.
No,
like
that's what
Tesla is at least $60,000.
Oh wow!
Well, I think the Model S is like 35.
Yeah, but they're shit.
Yeah,
they're built. They're literally built like shit.
Yeah, the handles like come off, like the panels and everything, the paneling and everything on the inside.
I can't believe they're that expensive. I knew they were expensive, but I didn't think like 60.
And you have to be. You can't just. I mean, if you have enough money, I'm sure you can just go and say, "Give me a Tesla," and you'll walk out with one. But
thanks, Elon.
A lot of times you pay a deposit to be put on a wait list.
Yeah.
And oh my god!
And then they say you're approved to get a Tesla or keep waiting.
Yeah, and if you want like the part with like the auto drive or the autopilot, it costs an extra $10,000 just to put that in the car.
Yeah,
and the thing is, it's already in the car. Like
they just have to activate it.
Right, they have to activate the service on the car itself. So that the system
you're paying for a subscription to let somebody else drive your car.
Yeah,
that's unbelievable.
So to answer your question, no, I don't think electric cars are the move, Senni.
Yeah, because I think people are only getting poorer, so I don't think it's happening.
I am. Let's talk about the football game now. In another potentially good game, the Bills play the Buccaneers. Bills have been inconsistent this season, though Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs are still elite producers who cannot be sat. What level of fantasy production do you expect to see from this team against the Bucs defense?
I mean, I think it's tough because the Bucs, I mean, they do have a really good defense, but Atlanta was moving the ball somewhat well, at least the first half against them. I think the Bills are a lot better of a team than the Falcons are.
Sure are.
I like Diggs and I like Allen this week, but really, I mean, maybe Beasley is a flex option if you have no other choice, but that's really it.
The Bills have one of the best defenses in the league, so similarly, do you expect them to be able to slow down the red-hot Bucs offense?
Slow down, maybe, but not completely stop. I don't think you're shutting down this Bucs offense.
Brady, Fournette, Evans, Godwin, and Gronk are all top 10 respectively at each of their positions in terms of fantasy points per game. I don't see this being a defensive struggle. I think the Bills are going to win in a shootout, 33-28, so I'm firing up all options that I have except for Bills running backs because they're useless. And the Bills win 33-28.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bills.
It's a tough spot for me because I have Tampa Bay's defense.
Wouldn't start him.
Yeah, I know, but I want the Bills to win.
Okay. Next, we had the Bears and the Packers, classic rivalry game. Our favorite player, David Montgomery, went off for 28 fantasy points on Sunday, while wide receiver Darnell Mooney was held in check with only 7.7 fantasy points. Are you concerned about this, Justin?
Not really. I think he's still the receiver that I want from this team, and the weather was shit.
Yeah, I think the weather played a big factor
Yeah.
in the lack of passing game, really from both teams.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are just better at football than the Bears. The last time we saw the Packers play, A.J. Dillon logged twice as many carries as backfield mate Aaron Jones. How do you see this split going forward, Justin?
I would put this pretty similar to what they have going on in Denver, where I think it's going to be kind of the changing of the guard. I think it's becoming Dillon's offense, and I think it's not going to be like flipping a switch. I don't think Jones is going to be run out of town, but I think it's slowly going to transfer over to Dillon.
I think it's going to be more of like a 50-50 type thing. I feel like Aaron Jones is still more likely to catch passes and score more points on a consistent basis than A.J. Dillon. But, I mean, A.J. Dillon is built like a brick house. I don't know why you wouldn't run him at the goal line. So I do think this being a frustrating situation for fantasy managers of Aaron Jones. And if you have A.J. Dillon, you're not allowed to complain because you probably picked him up off of waivers or drafted him late. I can understand the frustrations if you drafted Aaron Jones in the second round or even late first round, and he has not paid his dividends for you. I think the Packers win this game 27-14.
Yeah, I'm going Packers.
Me too.
Our last game of the week is the Monday Night Football NFC West matchup between the Rams and the Cardinals. Could be a fun one.
Yeah.
Darrell Henderson Jr. was held out of last week's contest, though healthy, in their win over the Jags. Sony Michelle logged 24 carries for 121 yards and a touchdown in his place. Do you have concerns about this becoming a committee?
I don't think so. I mean, with Henderson being inactive, I have to think it was like they went into the game saying it's the Jags. We can deal with, or we can win without him.
Yeah.
So I don't see a major concern for a committee.
It was surprising to me that he came down to basically a game time decision, and they said that he was active, and then he didn't log a carry.
Yeah.
That's annoying to me. That's annoying to all fantasy managers everywhere. Sony Michelle did look really good, so it wouldn't surprise me if they try to get him a bit more involved, but I don't think that he's competing for any meaningful, like, at best it's going to be like a 70-30 type share. It's not going to be a dead even committee.
Yeah.
Unless Darrell Henderson is dealing with a more significant injury than we're led to believe.
Sure.
Kyler Murray is back and as good as ever.
He looked great.
Chase Edmonds is likely to return this week. So what does that mean for James Conner?
I mean, Connor's not going to get. I think the goal line plays are still going to go through Connor, so he's still going to get the touchdowns. I think the only thing that's going to be taken away from him are those pass catches.
Yeah,
That's really it.
Yeah, I agree. It sucks because Connor has been excellent in the time that he's had the backfield to himself, but it will be a committee when Edmonds does return, whether it's this week or at a later date. Hopefully James Conner can keep ripping off those touchdowns as he's been doing all season. Doesn't seem sustainable, but so far it has been. I think the Cardinals win this game 26-23.
Yeah, I'm going Cardinals too.
I think this is the toughest one I've had to pick all year, but I'm going to support the Cardinals.
Okay. We'll see what happens. Hope it's a good one. Good way to end the week. Let's wax your chest.
Is one of you going to rip it off, or am I ripping it off?
I think we have to do it.
Yeah, it'd probably have to be Sean.
Especially because I'm not going to rip it as hard as you guys would.
Yeah. It's just one little patch.
I know.
Let me see here, Justin. I want to show. Not the wax, the fucking box. This is how you're going to look.
Should have had to just do like a nipple instead of a chest.
I was afraid I'd rip your nipple off.
Yeah. Fuck me.
All right. This is where we're going to pick up rolling, Vince.
I got stuck. So
I
start
guess
from
the base, right?
the bottom down
Bottom
Bottom
up?
or bottom up. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Straight down. Yeah. No, there you go. Get it in there.
It's like almost all of it.
Yeah.
But it's going to look so weird because it's going to be hairy.
is, yeah.
And shaving it is like pointless because it's not going to grow back.
Right. That's why it's just one. I mean, I know you're happy that you get to be shirtless on camera.
I fucking feel like I look like shit, so. I know you
Yeah.
obviously disagree, but like.
Well, this is a Sally Hansen kit, Senni. Sally Hansen wouldn't steer you wrong. So what do I do now?
I think you're good to go because you don't want it
Separate the
to.
last strips?
Are we confident we're like recording?
Yeah. It's going, right, Justin?
Yeah.
Vince is taking a meeting with the church right now.
Is
So,
it actually
here
the
I come.
church?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here we go. This is a little exciting. All right, it's got to be quick like a bandit.
Yep.
I got some.
You got some.
I think because of where it was placed, it was between like.
Should we do it again?
Is there more?
Could you go across? Probably.
Cross maybe.
Yeah.
Let's try a cross. I did get a little bit. No.
I mean, for me, that's a lot of hair.
That is a lot of hair.
We'll go one more time. See
Yeah.
if it works. All right, so go across.
Yeah.
In the crevasse.
I just love that it says Sally Hansen like
It's
50
Sally,
times.
my girl Sally.
Yeah, I feel like you should get way more now.
Matt Lamar, you know you're loving this shit. There's two favorite punishments: wrestling and
Right.
this one.
1, 2.
Oh God! Does it hurt? It's red as fuck. I mean, it's just not. I think it's just your tits are too big.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting hair.
Yeah,
I think that's good. I mean, that red mark is pretty intense.
Yeah. The only other thing I was thinking is if we did like the happy trail.
I'm not doing the happy trail.
Sam would be much
I don't
more
want him to
upset.
lose that. He did lose some hair, not all
Yeah.
of it. It's in a weird spot. I think the parts that are like on the insides of your titties are
It's all
gone.
indented. That's
yeah.
what my hair is.
I know. It's the part where like the indent is. I can't get to it. I would need like a really thin one to get it.
I can see that it's red now.
Yeah,
though.
it's very
red.
red.
It was red after he pulled it the first time.
I think it was sufficient for
Yep.
what we needed.
All right.
So that's going to do it for
Do you
this
need
week's.
finishing
Oh yeah,
oil?
aftercare finishing oil. Rub that in there. Get rid of some of that redness.
I also think it'll get like the residual like wax off.
Oh yes. Fuck. I hope they allow this on YouTube. Well, that's going to do it for this week's
Now we gotta
sensual
remove ads.
episode of the Fantasy Beer League. We'll be with you every Wednesday on YouTube with audio-only podcasts available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. As always, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the handle FantasyBeerLG. Those are the letters at FantasyBeerLNG. I'm Sean Joyce. He's Justin Giel. And here's Matt Senni with his advice of the week.
If you're too poor to afford a Tesla, like 97% of us, get your shit together.
Got to make moves. Got to support the unguardable brand. Good luck in week 14.